Most athletes hear max effort and think miss lifts, grinders, and feeling wrecked for 3 days. That's not max effort. That's cosplaying as a powerlifter and making bad decisions with very heavy weight. In this video, I'm going to explain what the max effort method actually is, why athletes should implement it into their training, and why most people just end up copying powerlifters and making no progress.
Look how you make me happy. You take a hold of me.
So at its core, the max effort method is about maximal force production. Force equals mass times acceleration, and the max effort method takes care of 1/2 of that equation, the mass side of the equation. But here's what matters for athletes of any sport: neural drive, motor unit recruitment, and intramuscular coordination. All three of those things are very valuable for any type of athlete. You're basically teaching your nervous system how to turn everything on all at once. This is why speed works a little bit better when strength is higher, and conditioning feels a little bit better when strength is higher as well. Obviously, to a certain extent. If strength is all you have, then those other qualities are still going to feel very, very slow, very, very bad, and very, very unconditioned. But max effort training is essentially practice under heavy loads. So what is max effort training not? Well, number one, it is not missing lifts, programming the weight so high that you ultimately fail. This is not a powerlifting competition. You don't have to push to 101% of your ability. Grinding reps for 10 seconds. Sure, you want to strain a little bit, but it doesn't mean you have to strain so hard and so long. That is sport specific for powerlifting. You're really not going to get much if you're doing that as an athlete. And then letting technique collapse completely. A lot of Westside guys would do this. They would allow their technique to break to a certain extent, so it taught their body how to recover if this happened during a third attempt. As someone that's not in powerlifting, that's not something you really have to be concerned with. For an athlete, a max effort attempt is pretty much something that's heavy, that you can move with intent. There could be some grind, and probably should be some grind, but it is not the goal for you to strain super, super hard. You want to make sure you are not allowing your posture to break, joint integrity stays intact, and you are bracing really hard. Basically, being able to brace yourself and not allowing for compensation is going to be the main takeaway for athletes that use the max effort method. So you should look strong, but not look like you're fighting for your life during this attempt. Why do athletes need the max effort method? Now remember, it's just one piece of the puzzle, but I'm focusing on that right now. So stronger athletes absorb force better, they redirect force better as well, and stay healthier after contact with another athlete. If your max squat is low, then sprinting is going to feel more stressful, cutting is going to feel more stressful, jumping is going to feel more stressful. Strength is basically shock absorption. So this is especially important in contact sports, change of direction sports, and sports with repeated high force outputs. So here's an example of a 3-week max effort wave. Just imagine I'm doing any exercise here. So week number 1 is going to be your introduction to the movement. Obviously, you're not going to be performing at your best because this is the first week you are doing this movement. Not ever, but in terms of the 3-week wave. So find a clean technical max. Work up anywhere from 1 to 5 reps, but we'll talk about that in another video, on what you can do with very good form while having the bar speed slow just enough and make it challenging so you don't think you can add much more weight to the bar, if any. Then week 2 is going to be a slightly heavier variation from the week before. So there's going to be more strain, but the rep quality should be similar. And then week 3 is going to be your peak effort. Here's when you're actually going for a max, when you most likely cannot add any more weight. And it's going to be the best of the 3 weeks. Think of it as your mini peak week. Then you're going to rotate the bar type, stance or grip width, and the range of motion. So you're going to play with a variable, but keep the overall exercise the same, such as if you did a flat bench, maybe the next 3 weeks can be a close grip bench, or a flat bench and just add bands or chains, or pause at the bottom, pause in the middle. There's any type of variable that you can change will allow the weight to be different, the stimulus to be different, and the overall stress to be different. This is how you are able to use the max effort method without maxing out every single week and keeping your body a little bit fresher than if you're going for 100% every week. So if you want to implement the max effort method, but you want a little bit more hypertrophy focus, so this approach is ideal for off-season athletes, just anyone that needs more what I like to call body armor, which is essentially just muscle that will help you protect your joints in contact sports. Maybe you're in a weight class sport and you need to move up a weight class over the course of the off season. For athletes who want to build size without sacrificing their max strength or explosiveness. So the goal is to build muscle that will actually produce force. So here is the basic hypertrophy based max effort structure. So you're going to work up to a 3 to 5 rep set. So you want the reps to be heavy but clean, no grinders, no absolute grinders, I should say, and maintain full body tension. Then after your heavy 3 to 5 rep set, you're going to do 2, maybe 3 singles at around 90 to 95%. Obviously, it's not going to be your full 90 to 95% because you've already worked up to a max 3 to 5 rep set. So this helps auto-regulate your peak strength. But still, these singles should focus on moving bar speed and focus on moving the weight with intent. And then once you are done those singles, you're going to drop down to maybe 10, 20% of the bar weight that gets taken off, and then do an AMRAP set. So as many reps as you can. Was that 10? Is that 12? Is that 15? Is that 20? I need you to push further than you would. And here's where you're going to be grinding out reps. Your main goal is to get as many reps. Obviously, you want clean, good reps with good form. Don't get sloppy and don't think of just moving the bar. But this is where you're going to get a really intense set and get a lot more volume than you would from a traditional max effort session. So here's why it works. You're combining mechanical tension, so the heavy reps in the beginning, then the singles are going to be helping your neural output, and then you get metabolic stress from that back off set. Most programs are only hitting one of these, and you're getting all of these in just the very first portion of your workout. And this hits all 3 of those without crossing into the threshold of it possibly being considered junk volume. So for exercise selection, you're going to want exercises that go through a long range of motion. Don't do partials. Don't do exercises where the absolute load is going to be so high. So don't do sumo deadlift block pulls. Don't do quarter squats. That's probably not a good exercise for a good amount of hypertrophy. You want to have exercises that are going to have a greater stimulus. For example, a deficit deadlift is a good idea. It has a lot of range of motion. A snatch grip deadlift, because of the wider grip, it also has a greater range of motion than a standard deadlift. You can have a safety squat bar, a front squat. You can do a cambered bar bench. That's going to have a little bit more range of motion. Incline benches have more ranges of motion than a flat bench, depending on your build. But you see where I'm going with this. Don't limit the range of motion just to get more weight, especially if hypertrophy is the goal here. But you also want movements that you can load safely, movements that you can load heavy, movements that the stress can be distributed amongst your entire body, not one just localized amount of muscle groups, and allows for long-term progression over weekly waves or double weekly waves. So just off the top of my head, some more examples: safety squat bar, neutral grip football bench, front squat, trap bar deadlift, things that everyone has access to. And then you're going to want to avoid lifts that punish the joints unnecessarily. Remember, these are athletes here. You're already playing a sport that's going to punish your body. You want your training to help reduce that punishment, not add to the punishment. So I hope you liked this video. I hope this gave you some ideas for max effort work to sneak a little bit of hypertrophy focus in there. Remember, it's just a little bit of a focus. You're not rejigging your whole training routine just because you need to slap on a couple of pounds of muscle. You're still going to do your accessory work, but this allows you to get some more volume, some more meaningful, heavy volume in the beginning part of your workout to help supplement, no pun intended, your supplement or accessory work later on in the workout. So if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, class is dismissed.